What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Welcome back to the Respawn series where I answer your questions. Today we're talking new abilities, upcoming stuff, and more. First question, would an insta-kill melee ability like the Spy's Backstab from TF2 work in Overwatch? Absolutely not. Now, ignoring all of the people that would just complain about it, there are some serious balance issues. If you look at the other one-hit kills in the game, they're not really one hit. It's more of a pseudo one-hit. So, Widowmaker does a lot of damage when she lands a critical, Diva's ultimate does a lot of damage, Reinhardt can charge you into a wall, but these are all fixed damage numbers, and they can be lowered by barriers, resistance, and all sorts of other stuff absorbed. But the way that the Spy's Backstab works is it just insta-kills you no matter how much health you have. So if you were to add something like that into the game, imagine a Hammond who just used his adaptive shield, he's got 1,000+ hit points, and suddenly he just instantly dies. Or a Winston who ultimates and then just instantly dies. That would be unbelievably unbalanced, and you just can't really do that. Even if you were to use it on a regular tank, like who has 400 hit points and 100 armor or something like that, it would just be way too strong. You can't really balance something like that. It's very difficult. The next question, do you think Widowmaker needs any changes? I think the only thing Widowmaker needs changed is a little bit of a buff to the Venom Mine, and that's it. Do you think Apex Legends is better than Overwatch? Congratulations, because there was about 1 million of these and you got picked. There are two different game types. One is a battle royale and the other is a team-based objective style game. So it's going to have different audiences. Yes, there's going to be overlap, and some people that play Overwatch might end up going to Apex Legends. I think most of those players are going to come from Fortnite, PUBG, that sort of stuff, other similar battle royale style games. There are going to be some. Now, as far as is it better, again, it's kind of what you like. Do you like the Battle Royale style? Then yeah, you're probably going to like it better. I personally don't care all that much for it. I've tried a couple of the Battle Royales. They didn't quite pique my interest, although this one does look a little bit better than the others. So here's a question for all of you guys. Would you like to see Apex Legends content on my channel in some form? Whether it's gameplay or it's tips or guides or whatever it is, let me know down below in the comment section if you would like to see some Apex Legends on this channel. Next question, what are your thoughts on the new map Paris? Do you see any major problems with it? I already made a video going over all of the issues. It was like 30 minutes long. If you go back on my channel a couple videos, you'll find it. It's a full breakdown of the Paris map, but just real fast, some issues. The choke points are way too small, the map is way too heavily geared towards Goats Comp, and the ceiling, the invisible barrier at the top, is also really low, which makes Goats Comp even better because one of the main counters to Goats Comp is Pharah Mercy, and if the Pharah can't really go very high because of that invisible barrier, it just makes that comp even weaker. So yeah, there's some serious issues. Go and check out that other video. Do you think that Roadhog needs a buff or a nerf or even a rework? He doesn't need anything significant. I think a good change to him would be to add a passive that simply reduces the amount of ult charge that enemies get from attacking him. That way, his damage doesn't go up, his defenses don't go up, it just makes him less of an ult battery. I think that alone would make him more viable. Is there a damage or healing cap? No, there is not. What do you think of a hero that can shoot through walls? If it's an ability, then yes, because that's not going to happen all the time. For example, Hanzo's ultimate can go through walls, there's no problem with that. But if you're talking about a character whose normal attack can go through walls, no, that would be really bad. That would be unbelievably difficult to balance. Do you think Moira is in a good spot right now? Yeah, for the most part, she's pretty strong for Platinum and below, just in healing. In the upper brackets, she's a little bit more of a niche pick. She's usually used with Goats Comp in some form because the problem with Moira is she has really high healing, but no utility. So a lot of the higher skill players are going to opt to pick a Zenyatta or an Ana instead. For the most part, though, yeah, she's in a pretty solid area. Would you like to see any kind of ability ultimate that would increase speed of the payload or capture point capturing time? So this is an interesting concept. In Team Fortress 2, The Scout has, last I checked, it was a double capture modifier. So if he's standing on a point, it counts as 2 people, or if he's trying to move a payload, it counts as 2 people. I think something like that could work in Overwatch. My only concern is, would it become mandatory? Like, would that character become an absolute must pick? I'm not really sure it would though, because usually in the higher skill brackets and in the Pro League, when they're capturing a point, it's usually that the fight is already over, the defending team is dead, and they're just capturing it. So at that point, I don't know if the ×2 capture modifier would actually be that big of a deal. I think it would make a much more bigger of a deal in regular, normal comp with just random people on your team. The only issue with that is you're probably going to have a lot of people trying to sneak in and just capture it on their own, and that would just cause problems. So I think it could work, but I don't know. It might be problematic. Is the Disrupt meta truly dead, or can it be revived? So the Disrupt is something that I came up with a while ago. It was the Hammond, Doomfist, and Sombra comp, and this was before they even started using it to counter goats. And I thought it was going to be very strong, and as it turns out, it was. In fact, it was one of the better counters to goats comp. Unfortunately, Blizzard nerfed Doomfist into the ground, and that comp is just pretty much dead now. So you can't really run a full Disrupt. You can still run partial with Sombra and stuff, but at that point, it's not really Disrupt anymore, it's just some other variation. But unless Doomfist gets some serious changes, no, it's done. Why did Genji join Blackwatch? Because of their amazing dental plan. Actually, I have no idea. They haven't told us yet in the lore, so who knows. Who do you hope is Hero 30 character and role? As far as who it is, I really don't care. This is what I say every time. I don't care who the character is. I'm more concerned about what they can do. And I think right now this game needs better healers and better tanks. And when I say tank, I mean an actual, I'm going to prevent damage on my teammates kind of tank, not a Roadhog or Hammond style quote-unquote tank. Any advice how to improve your aiming? Yes, there are a bunch of programs that you can get off of Steam. Some of them are free, some of them cost a couple bucks. One example is Aim Hero. They're really good. So there's a process for trying to improve with pretty much anything. It doesn't matter if it's gaming or painting or whatever. It's called Crawl, Walk, Run. And what you do is you start with a very simple concept, and then you try to master that. Then you add something else to it, more elements of the total, and make it a little bit more complicated and try to do that. That's the walk phase. And then you take all of that stuff that you learn and you put it together, and then that's the run phase when you're doing the final product. So for something like Overwatch, the crawl phase is the training area. And because the training area in Overwatch is garbage, you're better off using these out-of-game aim trainer type stuff. Now, if you're wondering, Effect, who plays for the Dallas Fuel, one of the best DPS players in the world, uses an aim trainer thing called Aim Hero on almost a daily basis. So if you're wondering how good it is and how effective it can be, well, no pun intended, then it's very effective. And anyone who tells you not to use them, they don't know what they're talking about, just ignore them. But for Overwatch, the crawl phase is the aiming when you're just standing in one spot and trying to get your aim down. The walk phase is when you add movement and enemies, so that would be something like deathmatch or quick play. And then finally, the run phase is when you take all of those skills that you've learned and you put them together and you apply it in the competitive game mode. So crawl, walk, run, and it works for everything. Next question, is GOAT still good? Yes, it is still the meta, regardless of what you might hear from other people. It is definitely still the meta. And that leads into the next one. Are there any hard counters to GOAT's comp? No, which is why it's still the meta. There's only 3 comps that kind of counter GOATs. The first one was Disrupt, but that's gone because of Doomfist nerfs. The second is Pharah Mercy, which is somewhat effective. And then the third is the Bastion Symmetra, but that one is more of a cheese comp and is extremely easy to counter, so it's not nearly as effective as people originally thought. So yes, GOATs is still here, and it's probably going to be here for a long time. Should SR Decay be removed in lower ranks? There is no SR Decay in lower ranks. The SR Decay is when you don't play the game, for a certain period of time, a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then your rank just all of a sudden starts to drop on its own. That happens only if you're 3,000 and above. If you're below 3,000, you don't have SR decay. Is quick play matchmaking skill-based? I'm plat almost every match against top 500. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It tries to put you with people that are of a similar rank, but it also tries to emphasize faster matches. So if it's available, it'll just grab whoever it can and throw it into a match. Which one of your hero concepts is the best in your opinion? I like them all, but I think probably Brute would be the one that I like the most. Would you enhance the mobility of heroes like Zen and Ana? No, I wouldn't. And the reason why I wouldn't is because it would require a pretty significant rebalancing. Ana would have to lose a lot of her healing, Zenyatta would lose a lot of his damage. I think the characters are fine as is, and they don't necessarily need mobility. It's okay that they need to rely on their teammates for more survivability. What is the proper playstyle to play Doomfist these days? Go back into the spawn room and switch to something else. Do you think Blizzard will ever put hero concepts into Overwatch such as the ones I've made? Probably not, to be honest. Probably not. Should there be a timer on Ana's sleep dart where her allies can't do anything to the target for 2 seconds or something? So that's an entirely different kind of ability. Right now, Ana's sleep dart is what's known as an incapacitate, where it makes it so that they can't do anything, but if they take any damage, then they instantly wake up. What you're talking about is kind of like forcing an ice block on the enemy, where they can't take damage, but they can't act either. It's a new type of ability. It's not something that currently exists in Overwatch. It does exist in other games. I think it's possible, but it would be kind of tricky to balance. Why was Scatter Arrow removed from Hanzo? Because it was garbage. And at one point, why was Symmetra called a support character? Because originally, Symmetra could give shields to her teammates. The first version, she would literally just click on you, and it would give you an extra 50 shields on top of whatever your health was. If you deflect an ult like Dragon Strike and got 4 kills, would you still get the trophy? Yes, and it works for other stuff too. Like if you reflect Zarya's ultimate or Mei's ultimate, you can get the achievements for that stuff too. Is Moira still the best healer? Well, as I talked about earlier, she has the most raw healing output, but she lacks utility. So for the lower ranks, yeah, she's a strong healer, but for the upper ranks, if you were just to say the best character to pick, probably not. It's going to be Ana or Zenyatta. What changes would you make to Temple of Anubis map? Probably just delete it. Can you give me tips for Widow at 1200 SR? Yes, don't play Widow at 1200 SR. And I'm not even kidding. Like, it's probably not a good idea. How soon do you think the next hero will come out? Probably in 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to start to get teasers towards the end of this month. Why can you make hero concepts faster than Blizzard? Well, the thing is, I don't have to actually go through and make all the 3D modeling and the programming and all that sort of stuff. So creating a concept is different from creating an entire character. But having said that, Blizzard probably has quite a few hero concepts that we just don't know about, because they're not going to tell us, hey, these are all the hero concepts we have, and then, you know, you're going to have all these people who are like, oh, I want this one to be next, and I want this one to be next, or I want that one to be next. And it's just going to cause problems. So they're not going to tell us the hero concepts until they're ready to actually release the hero. I've asked this 3 times. When do you think the new amazing social feature? So this got delayed. It was supposed to come out last fall. It's probably going to be sometime around May or June would be my best guess. That's going to be all the questions for today. Thank you to everyone who submitted one. If you didn't get picked, make sure to try again next week. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.